I want to come to something else that's happened. One of the unusual things that happened in India, which did not happen in the US, is that public transport actually shut down during the lockdown, which means that even domestic flying stopped. Now, in America, by contrast, airports were open even though people may have been choosing not to fly, right? Since domestic flights have opened in India, actually, there is no data to show that flying is dangerous. Of course, people are wearing face shields and masks and flying, but this is a good thing. And explain this to us, because airplanes are closed spaces, the air is recycled, but people are flying, and this gives us hope. And literally, there's nobody, different states and different airports have their own rules. Some require COVID testing, some don't. What would you say about flying in the age of Corona?
Sure. Once again, nothing is risk-free, but flying, I don't believe, is a high-risk activity. If you look at mega super spreader events, none of them are linked to an aeroplane. They've been linked to places of worship. They've been linked to large weddings. They've been linked to all kinds of other gatherings, but none of them have been linked to an aeroplane, because aeroplanes have a filter. There is a HEPA filtration system in the aeroplane. So the air is not just recirculated, it's also filtered. And when everybody is wearing a mask, and usually people are not sick who are on the plane, and you're doing hand washing and you're being careful, chances are you'll do well. And I don't want to, again, my job here is to stay the balance. So if I go in one extreme, your job is to call me out. I'm not trying to make people complacent. And I'm not trying to create a panic. I want to make sure we stay behind the science. So currently, the science says if your travel is necessary, I think it's reasonable to go with precautions. If it's a leisure vacation that you can delay, yes, use your common sense and delay it.
But why should we then not open up international flying more than we have? We know from the domestic sort of travel that it's not dangerous, as you just explained, right? And I don't think anyone feels like sort of taking a holiday right now for the heck of it. But yes, people may need, for their own mental well-being, just something normal to do. There's also the economic dimension. There's a serious economic activity curtailment that has taken place. Affiliated industries are damaged when planes don't fly, when people don't travel. And that is why I'm pushing you on this question.
I completely see your point, but this is why I said I don't comment on policy, because it requires, I'm a data-driven man.
Sure.
I have to see a lot of data before answering that question. I would like to quantify that human impact versus economic impact versus an industrial impact. And I don't have that data. And I think I should. This is another thing that this pandemic has taught us. If all of us just swim in our own lanes, meaning if I just say only what medicine tells me, and at the same time, with all due respect, if politicians only say what politics is and not get into medicine, and economists only talk about economy, I think we would be a much better world. The problem is we're all tempted to go into each other areas, and I try to resist that temptation.